Hello viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel Spiritual Talk by TT। मैं त्रिभुवन ओस्लो नॉर्वे से आपका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। व्यूअर्स, जो लोग मेरे चैनल पर नए हैं और चैनल को अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, कृपया चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लें और नोटिफिकेशन के बटन को भी जो है इनेबल कर दें, ताकि आपको जितने भी वीडियो हम अपलोड करते हैं उनकी नोटिफिकेशन उसी समय मिल जाती है और आप उन वीडियो को देख सकते हैं। Viewers, today we gonna discuss on the transformative practices of Japam and Dhyanam. Today we delve into the profound significance and impact these spiritual practices have on our lives, exploring their ability to cultivate inner peace, foster personal growth, and deepen our connections with the divine. I firmly believe practicing Japam and Dhyana regularly creates a spiritual discipline that nourishes our soul, enhances our ability to focus, and bring a sense of serenity and balance to our lives. एक स्वामी विवेकानंद का कोट भी यहाँ पर मैं बताना चाहूँगा। स्वामी विवेकानंद जी ने कहा, जपम और ध्यान का अद्भुत सामर्थ्य है। ये हमारी मनोदशा को स्थिर करके आंतरिक अनुभवों को सुखी बनाते हैं और हमें आत्म साक्षात्कार की ओर ले जाते हैं। तो चलिए, समय आ गया है आज के खास मेहमान को इंट्रोड्यूस कराने का। आज के हमारे मेहमान है कार्तिक सुंदर राजन, आईआईटी रुड़की के और आईटी प्रोफेशनल हैं। और आप सब जानते हैं कि मैं और कार्तिक टाइम टू टाइम ऐसे विषयों पर चर्चा करते रहते हैं। कार्तिक, वेलकम यू इन अवर टुडेज टॉक शो।
नमस्कार।
तो कार्तिक, स्ट्रेट वे टॉपिक पे जाते हैं। तो ये जो ध्यानम का टॉपिक हमने आज लिया है, जपम और ध्यानम का, कुड यू जस्ट एक्सप्लेन व्हाट इज द साइंस हियर?
So, Tribhuvan ji, when will we call anything as science? When we are able to bring that in the cause and effect relationship. So, अगर आप देखेंगे cause and effect relationship के बारे में बात करें, तो we can also understand that cause and effect relationship itself follows three laws. The first law says if there is an effect, there must be a cause. The second law says effect is cause itself in different form. And the third law says if you remove cause from effect, nothing remains. तो मैं आपको एक उदाहरण के साथ समझाता हूँ। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मान लीजिए मेरे पास एक गोल्ड चेन है, तो गोल्ड चेन जो है, इफ देयर इज अ गोल्ड चेन, देयर मस्ट बी गोल्ड समवेयर।
करेक्ट।
So first law is established. Second law says effect is cause itself in different form. तो उसका मतलब यह है कि gold chain, is it not gold itself in different form? Okay. And the third law says if you remove cause from effect, nothing remains. तो अगर मान लीजिए if I remove gold from gold chain, क्या बचेगा? कुछ नहीं।
कुछ भी नहीं। करेक्ट।
So that is what is the cause and effect relationship. और दूसरा चीज ये है कि when will we call anything as law? When it applies irrespective of who applies it, and secondly it applies wherever it is applied, and whoever applies it, both will work. That means which is what I explained with between gold and gold. Let's also understand one thing. Science जो है, science ने with the effect of cause and effect relationship has given to the world whatever they are given in the form of invention or discovery. So let's understand one thing. What is discovery? I know the effect, but I don't know the cause. and I do my research and find out the cause, then it becomes discovery. What is invention? I desire an effect, and then I work to create the cause which will give me the effect. Then it will be called as invention. So
Correct.
इसका एक उदाहरण देता हूँ आपको कि man saw the birds fly but did not know why the birds fly. So they discovered the cause for which makes the bird fly and used that effect and wanted to create that effect in a machine.
Hmm.
So they invented the aeroplane which was able to fly based on his discovered cause of why the birds are flying.
Correct. 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 Correct.
So that's exactly what I say. Science is all about cause and effect relationship. So even whatever topic we have taken today, we are gonna relate everything to this cause and effect relationship.
ट्रू, ट्रू, वेरी मच ट्रू। सो थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ते हैं और लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड द ह्यूमन एनालॉजी। सो व्हाट डिड साइंस अनकवर अबाउट द ह्यूमंस?
So when man wanted to study objects around him, it became the objective science. And the same man, when he wanted to study himself, that means he became the very subject of the study. So it was the subjective science. So who were the ancient scientists? The ancient scientists were the rishis and the yogis. And they wanted to commence the journey about the human. So what did they find? Initially, the first finding was, I am the body.
करेक्ट।
Okay. But at the same time, what they did was, when they kept the eyes open, they saw the tree. At the same time, when they closed the eyes, they were still able to see the tree inside.
हम्म।
Okay. They were able to see the birds, they were able to see the fellow human beings. All of them they were there, they were able to see even when their eyes were closed. So it is practically not possible to have such a huge tree sitting inside me. It's not practically possible to have the birds and everything inside me.
करेक्ट।
So what they realized was, I am not just the body, I am the body plus the mind.
हम्म।
Mind that collects the input from the five senses and creates an impression of that inside me.
हम्म।
Okay. Then
ट्रू।
they continued their study and then they came across another interesting finding. The interesting finding was, when a man spotted a fruit, okay, one person grabs to eat it, the other person avoids it.
हम्म।
That means if I am only the body and the mind, then the response everybody should have to the same stimuli should be same, but
करेक्ट।
it is not that.
या।
So they realize that beyond the body and mind there is something else, and that is the emotions. Emotion, which is a discriminative personality, which separates, makes me discriminate between pain and pleasure.
हम्म। ट्रू।
So this time what they found was, I am body plus mind plus emotions.
हम्म।
And then the study continued.
हम्म।
Then they found that when a man heard the roar of a lion, one person ran inside the house, other person grabbed a spear and ran towards the lion. Okay, so why is there a difference in action? Then the man found out that beyond the body and mind, there is something called as intelligence. And this intelligence enabled the person to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. Okay.
हम्म।
So they came across another interesting finding, and that is, I am not just the body plus mind plus emotions, I am body plus mind plus emotions plus intelligence.
हम्म।
And then the journey continued further. This time, what they found was, not everybody who went to sleep yesterday got up today morning.
हम्म।
So they concluded that Beyond body, mind, intelligence, and emotion, there is something else. And what is that something else? They kept searching for it and realized, after carrying search for several years, they realized that that cannot be perceived. So they concluded, I am body plus mind plus emotions plus intelligence plus a formless presence. Why formless? Because if it is a form, it should be within the realm of perception.
Hmm.
Okay. Because it cannot be perceived, then they called it as a formless presence.
Hmm.
Okay. And it is this formless presence which expresses itself through the body and the body moves. It expresses itself through the mind and the mind thinks. It expresses itself through intelligence and emotions through which we are able to discriminate and act accordingly.
Hmm.
So, the first finding of the spiritualists, the finding is there is a formless presence in the presence of which everything functions, in the absence of which nothing functions.
Hmm.
So that is that finding is the quintessence of what we call as spirituality.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट। तो ये व्यूअर्स, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है यहाँ पे समझने की। और कि जो पूरी जो ह्यूमन है, ह्यूमन की जो कंप्लीट एनालॉजी है वो यही है। आपका जो है बॉडी, माइंड, उसके बाद आपके इमोशंस जो हैं, जो फीलिंग्स हैं, इमोशंस हैं, और उसको ड्राइव करता है इंटेलिजेंस। अगर कार्तिक इंटेलिजेंस को इंटेलेक्ट कहूँ तो ये वो डिफरेंट है
बिल्कुल
या
कह सकते हैं,
ये?
कह सकते
हाँ,
हैं।
तो इंटेलेक्ट जो हमारा जो रीजनिंग करता है बैड एंड गुड का, और उसके बाद उसके ऊपर भी एक सुपर पावर अंदर हमारे बैठी रहती है जिसको हम कहते हैं फॉर्मलेस, जिसका कोई मतलब हमें बाहर से कुछ नजर नहीं आता, बट देयर इज समथिंग विच इज ड्राइविंग एवरीथिंग विद इन अवर ह्यूमन।
It is like the power source.
हाँ,
In the presence of the power source, the AC is cooling the room, the light
एब्सोल्युटली
is lighting the room. Okay, all the equipments are functioning. अगर वो
करेक्ट,
power source हट गया तो
हट
सारे equipments रहेंगे लेकिन कोई
करेक्ट,
function नहीं करेगा.
करेक्ट, करेक्ट, करेक्ट। इससे मुझे याद आ रहा है एक जो है एकार्ड तुली करके, स्पेन के बहुत बड़े स्पिरिचुअल गुरु हैं, मॉडर्न गुरु जिनको हम कह सकते हैं। और उनकी एक फेमस किताब है द पावर ऑफ नाउ, जो कि पूरे वर्ल्ड में बड़ी सबसे हाईएस्ट सेलिंग बुक रही है। और ये जो एकार्ड तुली हैं, इनको भी लाखों लोग, करोड़ों लोग फॉलो करते हैं पूरी दुनिया में। तो इनकी एक सेइंग है कार्तिक, जो कॉम्प्लीमेंट करती है व्हाट यू हैव मेक अंडरस्टैंड हेयर एंड व्हाट यू हैव एक्सप्लेन। वो इनके इस एक सेइंग से भी आता है। इन्होंने कहा, एकार्ड तुली ने, द बॉडी इज द टेम्पल, द माइंड इज द ऑल्टर, the emotions are the offering, the intelligence is the guide, and the formless presence is the divine essence within। इसको थोड़ा हिंदी में अगर बताऊंगा तो इन्होंने कहा, शरीर मंदिर है, मन वेदी है, भावनाएं अर्पण है, बुद्धि मार्गदर्शक है, और निराकार उस उपस्थिति जो है अंतर्यामी तत्व तत्व है। तो व्यूअर्स, ये एकार्ड तुली का स्टेटमेंट बताने का रीजन ये है कि पूरे दुनिया में जितने भी इंटेलेक्चुअल हैं, स्पिरिचुअलिटी फॉलो करते हैं, स्पिरिचुअलिटी को समझते हैं, वो इसको जो है, इस एग्जिस्टेंस को मानते हैं। तो एकार्ड तुली, मैंने आपको बताया, यूरोप के बहुत बड़े स्पिरिचुअल गुरु हैं और स्पेन में रहते हैं। पूरे दुनिया उनको फॉलो करती है। देखिए, उन्होंने भी वही बात कही जो हम कर रहे हैं। तो मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन कार्तिक, इट वाज अ फैंटास्टिक इनसाइट वी गॉट टुडे। बढ़ते हैं आगे की तरफ। तो थोड़ा सा समझते हैं कि जो रिलीजन है, गॉड है, वो क्या है। हाउ यू डिफाइन दैट, व्हाट इज द गॉड, व्हाट इज द रिलीजन?
Sure. So the formless presence जिसके बारे में अभी बात किया था, it is this formless presence. It is what is called as God, Bhagwan, Allah. So let's do one thing. Let's link this finding with that of cause and effect relationship, which we spoke about earlier in today's discussion.
Hmm.
The first law says if there is an effect, there must be a cause. So we have the creation around us, the universe and all the objects within it. Okay, the living objects like the human, the animal, the birds, or the non living objects like the river, the ocean, the mountains, all that. Let's understand one thing. Because there is a creation, all of these, there must be a creator whom we call as God,
Hmm.
which is exactly aligned to Islam and Christianity, as well as to the Dvait philosophy in humans, in Hinduism.
Hmm.
Let's go to the second law.
Hmm.
Effect is cause itself in different form. This is exactly aligned to Sanatan Dharma, which says that see the God in sun, moon, trees, plants, ocean. Okay, जैसे आपका धरती माँ, the
हाँ.
mother earth, जो
Hmm.
आपके animals हैं, birds हैं, okay, इन सब में जो है see God in all of them. So this is exactly okay what when we say effect is cause itself in different form, because there is a creation, because there is a creation there is a creator, and because of that the entire creation is the signature of the creator itself in it. The rishis jo hai, after reaching here they did not stop, they went further. If the creator exists in all the creations, does the creator exist in me? And that is why they said Aham Brahmasmi, which is exactly aligned to Advait. So if you actually see Advait or Dvait, are they really separate? Exactly not. They are actually intertwined. So the next logical question which you can ask is if the formless presence is what is God, then who is Ram, Krishna, Hanuman, all that the gods which exist in हमारे पूजा रूम में जितने हैं और मंदिर में है, ओके, जो मंदिर में जो मूर्तियां हैं, जो पिक्चर्स है, वो सब क्या है? क्या वो भगवान नहीं है?
Hmm.
Then I can logically ask, before I answer this question, let me logically ask you one thing. What is Tiranga? For a non-Indian, Tiranga is a piece of cloth.
Correct.
However, for an Indian, Tiranga is not a piece of cloth, it is a symbol of the nation. Something whose respect is respect to the nation and whose disrespect is the disrespect to the nation.
True.
But what is Tiranga? Objectively speaking, Tiranga is a piece of cloth.
Hmm.
Yet, that piece of cloth represents the nation, and because it is representing the nation, because the symbol is representing the nation, it is as powerful as what it represents. So, you take the case of Ram, Krishna, Hanuman, जो आपके पूजा रूम में जितने देवी देवता हैं, all that are nothing but they are the symbols which represent the formless presence. Therefore, they are as powerful as the formless presence itself. So, if you actually see, the formless presence is the discovered God, while जो मंदिर में जो स्टैचूज है, आपके पूजा रूम में जितने फोटोज वगैरह हैं, all those are invented God. So whether it is invented God or the discovered God, it is your God as long as you have it as the object of your faith. If it is the object of your faith, it is your God. If it is not an object of your faith, it is just a photograph.
Correct. True.
So the next logical question that rishis had in their mind was if the man is a combination of body, mind, intelligence, emotions, and the formless presence, why is there suffering in human life? So they directed the study to the origin of human, which is nothing but the birth.
Hmm.
So what they realized was they came with a very profound realization. So let me share that here. So what they found was when the child was in the mother's womb.
Hmm.
There was no sensory input available to the child.
Correct.
There, the form, which is the body, was in complete state of unison with the formless presence. There was no mind here because there was no input to the mind. Because there was no input to the mind, there were no thoughts, there was no mind. Because the mind was not there, there was no emotion or intelligence involved. So the mind, intelligence, emotions were completely absent. What was there is the form and the formless presence were completely in the state of unison.
Hmm.
Now, when the child is born, what happens? The senses became active. With the senses became active, thoughts became active. Thoughts started coming, the mind became active. Along with the mind, intelligence and emotions also became active. With the arrival of mind, intelligence, and emotions, the unison between the form and the formless presence got lost.
Hmm.
Because between the form and the formless presence, mind, intelligence, and emotions came. So,
True.
what does the child do immediately after birth? The child starts crying.
Correct.
Doctors call this as birth trauma, while spiritualists call this as spiritual separation.
Hmm.
Okay,
Formless.
exactly. Separation between the form and the formless.
Hmm.
So, whenever a separation happens, the desire is to get back to unison.
Hmm.
So, the first desire, the only desire, and the ultimate desire of every human is to experience the unison between the form and the formless presence.
Hmm. True.
In this particular case, what does the mind, intelligence, and emotions do? The mind perceived that the separation between the form and the formless took place when the form came to the outside world.
Hmm.
So it starts searching for the formless presence in the outside world. And this search for the formless presence in the outside world led to lot of inventions and discoveries. The rishis later realized no matter how many ever invention and discovery we do in the outside world, it will never lead us to the unison between the form and the formless presence. So they decided to go inwards. And at that point of time, they realized that this can happen only by dropping the mind, intelligence, and emotions. And when the mind, intelligence, and emotions are dropped, what is left? The form and the formless presence, which can actually re experience the unison.
Hmm. Okay.
So, any process that helps one achieve the unison is what we call as dhyanam
Hmm.
or meditation.
Hmm.
So, how does the unison happen? When I say, as we spoke earlier, dropping mind, intelligence, and emotions is what will lead to unison. So, how do you make that happen? First, transcendence of mind. Second, integrity of intelligence. Third, equanimity of emotions. So, when I am able to experience equanimity of emotions, then I will no more be tossing between the negative emotion or the positive emotions. I will be actually experiencing equanimity of emotion.
Hmm.
Then integrity of intelligence, when actually I don't have a conflict between intelligence and emotions, or what is pain and pleasure. If they are in conflict between right and wrong, then also I will never be in a position to bring my intelligence and emotions to I cannot quieten my intelligence and emotions. And without quietening the intelligence and emotions, I cannot transcend the mind. So I have to bring all the three together. Now, any belief system which was able to bring this together is what we call as religion. So, different belief system came from different parts of the world and they came with their own approaches through which they were able to bring this, they were able to achieve the three things: transcendence of mind, integrity of intelligence, and equanimity of emotions.
Hmm.
Whichever thing achieved it, they all came with that, which is what is called as religion. So different parts of the world came with different approaches, and each of them became a religion by itself. So, for transcendence of mind, they gave the various religious practices. The religious practices like आपके हाथ में you are given a japamala, जिसको आप जाप करते रहो, और you are given a chanting, जिसको आप chanting करते रहो, जप करते रहो. So that is how you can transcend the mind. Then to bring integrity of intelligence, they gave the value system, a sets of rights and wrongs which each religion had provided, which was able to make people go through it and get a clarity about what is right and what is wrong, so that I can follow what is right and shun away from what is wrong.
Hmm.
To achieve equanimity of emotions, they gave the scriptures. They gave the scriptures like the Char Ved, then Ramayana, Mahabharat, and Mahabharat ke saath Bhagavad Gita. All these scriptures, what they did, they actually gave us the clarity about what emotions can bring in our life.
Hmm.
Through that, they actually taught us the how to bring equanimity of emotion within us. So all the three, transcendence of mind, integrity of intelligence, equanimity of emotion, achieved through the religious process, value system, and scriptures. All this put together is what formed the religion. So that is how from India came Hinduism, from the Arab came the Christianity, from the Arab came the
Islam.
Islam, similarly Christianity, Buddhism, Jainism, all that came from different parts of the world, primarily to serve this very purpose, which
Hmm.
is what is we call as religion.
हम्म, ट्रू। तो व्यूअर्स बहुत अच्छे से यहाँ पर जो है रिलेट किया गया है कि गॉड क्या है और रिलीजन कैसे फॉर्म हुआ, उनका जो साइंटिफिक लॉजिक है वो कार्तिक ने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से समझाया। अब अल्टीमेटली हम थोड़ा आगे की तरफ बढ़ते हैं, हम समझते हैं कि जो ध्यानम की हम बात कर रहे हैं ये इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये तो हमें समझ में आ गया। जपम इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये भी समझ में आ गया। क्यों ज़रूरी है, ये भी समझ में आ गया। अभी समझते हैं कि हाउ डज वन गो अबाउट ध्यानम, कार्तिक।
So let's also understand one thing. Our mind carries at any point of time 60,000 thoughts. And out of these, 95% are redundant and repetitive in nature. That is why, if I ask any one of you to explain your problem in, okay, by speaking out, you can speak for 20, 25, 30 minutes to even 1 hour. But whatever you have spoken, if the same person is asked to write on a piece of paper, you won't be in a position to write more than 5, 6 lines. Because after that, what you will find is you will actually find that you are repeating whatever you had already spoken.
हम्म।
Now, what has happened? That means that our thoughts are, lot of our thoughts are redundant, repetitive in nature. At the same time, we need to also understand each thought consumes energy to keep itself active,
ट्रू।
and each thought involves 1 trillion calculation in the brain, which actually makes our mind a very weak mind. And this weak mind needs to be trained to hold only one thought at a time. And only when the mind is trained to hold one thought at a time, that thought becomes potent and powerful.
हम्म।
So, at one end, our goal is to reach zero thought, which is dhyanam. But reality is we have 60,000 thoughts.
हम्म।
So, I have to take my thought level from 60,000 to zero, which means I have to take from many to none. But many to none is not an easy journey. what I have to do, from many, I have to first take that to one, and then eventually from one, it can be taken to none.
Hmm.
So, to make this happen, move from many to one, there are multiple approaches to make this happen. Either I take the body and put that body to peak dynamic motion. So when I put the body into peak dynamism, the mind loses its sense of direction and sense of time. And in that process, one is able to drop the mind, and this can lead to silencing. So it can be achieved through either Sufi whirling or Kundalini awakening dance or the Buddhist the monk dance or the meditation dance. कुछ भी करो, when you close your eyes and put yourself in certain dynamic process, that dynamic process of the body actually enables you to transcend your mind.
Hmm.
When the mind loses sense of time and space, the mind transcends itself into the body. And when the mind transcends itself into the body, one can easily drop the mind. Along with the mind, intelligence and emotions can be dropped, and you can experience the unison or dhyanam. The other approach is I I use the mind as the vehicle. So when I hold mind as the vehicle, what I have to do is, if I give a particular task to the mind and make the mind do the task on repetitive basis, then what happens is that particular process enables the mind to move the thoughts from many to one, so that the one can eventually be transcended to none. So
Hmm.
which is why they came with the concept of Japam.
Hmm.
But there is a flaw in the Japam here. Okay. Because if I just say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, keep chanting. Now what happens is you will keep chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Now what happening is the mind will train the body. The body will do the chanting. The mind will get on a world tour.
Hmm.
Now the purpose of Japam is lost.
Hmm.
So what they did was they said, let the body do the chanting and let the mind supervise the body doing the chanting.
Correct. Or either listen that chanting.
Exactly. The body is doing the chanting and the mind is supervising the body doing the chanting.
Hmm.
What happens is the mind and body is involved only in one activity. That one activity leads to one thought. When one activity and one thought, okay, leads to intelligence and emotions also attached only to that one particular activity and thought, so that that one can be transcended to none. For example, I can say that when we take Gayatri mantra is Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tatsavatavaranyam Bhargo Devasadivi Dhiyoyana Prajotyat. What we have to do is we break this Gayatri mantra into 6 parts. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha, Om Tatsaviturvarenyam, Bhargo Devasadimai, Dhiyoyana Prajotyat. Now, when we are chanting this one by one in each breath, now what we are doing is we are allowing the body to chant, and the mind has to be completely supervising the body, because when the mind is not supervising the body and getting involved with the thought, the mind will lose the focus on where the body left the last chant and where to pick up the next chant. The mind will lose control of that.
Hmm.
So, in order to bring the control back, the mind has to stay with the body. Now, when I'm doing the chanting, what I'm doing is I am breaking the chant into multiple parts and chanting one part at a time. And in the process of chanting one part at a time and allowing the mind to supervise the body, I am actually arresting the body and mind on one single activity, thereby putting that to one thought, and that one thought is locking the intelligence and emotions within it. So from one, it's easy to transcend to none. Let me demonstrate that with an example. Okay, so I'm chanting right now. भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यः भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्. After doing this chanting, it is very difficult to even open my eyes immediately after that, but I have to do justice to this particular online session. That's why I am breaking it and coming out of
Back.
it. But what happens is when I do a japam like this by breaking it into bits and pieces and chanting one bit at a time, and then experiencing the silence in between the pauses. Now, when I am doing that, what I'm doing is I'm actually experiencing dhyanam within. But it is not dhyanam, it is a preparation to the dhyanam. When I complete the japam, one japam, and then I just experience the silence, the terminal silence. What I'm doing is I am actually slipping myself into the state of dhyana. In this particular state, thoughts will come. The moment thought comes, I restart the japam. I restart the japam, finish it, and once again experience silence. That few seconds when the thoughts are not there, I am actually experiencing dhyanam. Once again, thoughts will intervene. I keep repeating this process, repeating this process, repeating this process. What happens? A stage comes where I want to open my eyes, but the silence is not allowing me to open my eyes. I want to move out into the world of thinking, but the silence actually is holding me back. And that is when I realize I have actually been sucked into dhyanam, and dhyanam has happened in life. So it is not a journey which needs to be commenced only at the fag end of one's life. One can start doing it at any point of time, at every point of time, so that you can actually use that to quieten the mind, achieve integrity of intelligence, equanimity of emotion. All of that can be achieved through this japam. So,
Correct.
with that, we have covered the science of who is God, what is religion, and what is dhyanam, which is the process to achieve God, and that makes this entire thing complete.
ग्रेट. सो व्यूअर्स, मुझे ज़रूर विश्वास है कि ये जो हम लोग यूजुअली करते हैं, लगभग लगभग हिंदू धर्म में तो एटलीस्ट, और बल्कि बाकी धर्मों में भी लोगों का कुछ ना कुछ चैंटिंग का अपना एक इम्पोर्टेंस है और वो भी करते हैं. तो आपको इससे ज़रूर हेल्प मिली होगी और थोड़ा सा इंसाइटफुल ये सेशन काफ़ी रहा है हमारा. मुझे स्वामी विवेकानंद जी का एक फिर से कोट याद आ रहा है, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा था, ध्यान में मन को एक ही विचार पर स्थिर करना एक कला है जिसे अभ्यास और धैर्य के साथ प्राप्त किया जा सकता है. इसको अगर इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट कर दूं तो इसका मतलब है, मेडिटेशन इज द आर्ट ऑफ फोकसिंग द माइंड ऑन ए सिंगल थॉट. It can be attained through practice and patience. क्योंकि ये थोड़ी देर का प्रोसेस नहीं है, बहुत जल्दी आप इसको कर पाएंगे ऐसा भी नहीं है, और हम लोग काफ़ी गलत प्रैक्टिस फॉलो करते हैं तो इसलिए उसका कोई बेनिफिट हमें नहीं मिलता है. तो चलते चलते एक प्रश्न व्यूअर्स आप लोगों के लिए भी छोड़ते जा रहा हूं कि आप लोग भी जप और ध्यान करते हैं आप कैसे करते हैं और इसका आपके जीवन पे क्या प्रभाव है, उसको कृपया आप इस वीडियो के कमेंट सेक्शन में कमेंट करके अपने विचार बताएं। और आज का सेशन आपको कैसा लगा उस पर भी अपने विचार दें। तो अगली बार जो हम सेशन करेंगे उसमें उन कमेंट पर भी एक आध पर और दो तीन बेहतरीन कमेंट्स के ऊपर हम डिस्कस करेंगे अपने सेशन के ऊपर। I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest Karthik Sundararajan for sharing his invaluable insights and wisdom on the profound practices of Japam and Dhyanam. Your presence and contribution have enriched our discussion, reminding us of the transformative power within these spiritual discipline. Thank you for enlightening us and inspiring us to deepen our connections with ourselves and divine through Japam and Dhyanam. Thank you so much, Karthik.
Thank you very much, Drivanji.